So we learned how to load data from a web page and transform the data sets. Let's take a look at another way of loading data. Sometimes you have like Excel files and you want to load it into Power BI. How do we do that? So that's actually very straightforward. You can go to Home, Get Data, or you can go to File, again, Get Data, and choose the Excel workbook. Okay. Then here, I have this Excel file in this folder. Okay, I'm going to just use it. Okay, for your case, you may need to find that file in your designated folder. So I'm going to choose this GDP in current US dollar Excel file, and I'm going to click open. So again, you can check whether that's the data you wanted. Yes, indeed, that's the table you wanted with the country name and the year's GDP data. Okay, so just check the table 1. Of course, you can also check that, see if this data works for you. It's gonna give you a preview. Okay, I think table 1 works better here, because see if you choose data 1, the first row is actually the column headers. Okay, that's basically the original data. Okay, Power BI is smart enough to realize, okay, this first row probably should be used as a column header. So in this table 1 format, already those column headers are the correct ones. So I'm going to just check this table 1, and I'm going to go transform data. Okay, so we're now again in this query editor here, and table 1 is loaded into the file, and we have this country name and different years GDP data already. Okay, if you somehow didn't load the table 1, but you loaded the original data, then you need to do, again, as I said before, you need to use the first row as the column header. You can go to this transform, use first row as column header, so you leave the first row up to become the column headers. Okay, so here we have this Excel file loaded into Power BI, and we want to do further transformations. We will need to remove some columns because we don't need all those years. Remember, our population data is at 5-year intervals. We have 1950, 1955, 1960, 1965, and so on and so forth. So for the GDP data, we're also going to use those years, GDP, instead of all those years. Here we have actually consecutive years from 1960 all the way to 2013, I believe. Okay, so we can do that. We can select the columns we wanted by going to the Home tab. There's a Choose Columns. Okay, click on this, and this entire list of columns is going to be here. All right. So we are going to first unselect all the columns and only select the ones we need. So we'll have country name, 60, 65, 70, 75, 80, 85, and 90, 90, 95, 2000, 2005, and 2010. That's all we need. Okay, so then click OK. Right, this new step we just took removed other columns. Okay, we only kept those columns here. And also notice in some years for certain countries, this data is missing. And the missing value is actually represented by those 2 dots. Okay, however, to really process the missing values, we want to actually make them blank instead of those 2 dots. So I'll just choose 1960, I'm going to press the shift button and select the entire range of years. Okay, I will also select 2010 while pressing the shift button. Then this entire range of years is going to be selected. And next thing I'm going to do is going to again home tab, and there's a replace values. Okay, click on that one. Replace one value with another in the selected columns. Okay, so the value to find is going to be those two dots. Okay, basically you just type the period twice, and that's going to be the two dots, and replace with nothing. Okay, it's going to be blank, empty. All right, so then just click OK. Remember, you don't need to type a space here. Okay, just leave it empty, then click OK. Then all those missing values are going to be replaced with just a blank cell. Okay. And lastly, I'm going to again unpivot those year columns such that I have a table where I have the first column being the country, and then for each country I'll have the second column which showing me the years from 1960 to 2010, all those years in rows. And then the third column is going to be showing the GDP data for each year for each country. All right, so that's what we learned before. It's called unpivoting, right? Go to transform and pivot columns, and here we go. So now I can rename this table GDP 1960 to 2010. So you probably also want to change the name of those two columns. Instead of attribute and value, I will name them differently. Double click on the header and name this year. Also, I want to change instead of the text format, I'm going to make it whole number. Okay. For the value, again, double click and rename it GDP. And for the formats, I'm going to make it whole number. Notice those empty cells now has a null kind of value there. It's just a way that shows the cell as a number format. So that's pretty much for this GDP data set. So once the table is transformed, you can just go to Home tab and Close and Apply. So the table is going to be loaded into this data model. So now you can see here's a new table GDP 1960 to 2010. So yeah, that's just finished our task.